The first explanation is about the definition of multimodality. Multimodality, according to Elizabeth Adami, 2016, multimodality is a concept introduced and developed in the last 2 decades to account for the different resources used in communication to express meaning. So, in addition, the functions of multimodality is that for describing a phenomenon of human communication, and the second function is to identify growing field of research. On the other hand, multimodality defines the combination of different modes, semiotic resources, both in text or communicative events, both in text or oral. For example, speech, writing, layout, moving image, movie, gesture, and many other examples. Okay, and multimodal text is a text may be defined as multimodal when it is combined two or more semiotic systems. It can be linguistic or visual. For example, for the linguistic one, when it includes vocabulary, structure, grammar or of oral or written language. When it is visual, it includes color, factor, and viewpoint in still and moving images. In this case, multimodal text can be in several forms as follows. So, multimodal text is not just only on a paper, but it can be in another form. The first, for example, it is multimodal text can be paper, can be digital, and can be live. The first is multimodal text can be in a paper. Some types of multimodal text. There are 4 types here. So the first is paper. This includes books, comics, flyers for business, and brochure. Picture books are books which is which each book shows the combination and arrangement of both textual and visual. For example, when we read a comic, of course, in a comic we will find the image and the text. So those are called multimodal text. The second is digital. The examples of digital types are blogs, videos, slide presentations, and web pages, and many other examples. Those examples combine elements of sound effects, oral and written language, music, and moving images. So, here multimodal can we can conclude it as the combination of some modes. So that is the elements of sound effects, oral and written language. So when we find the combination of those modes, so it is called multimodality. The third type is live. Multimodal text can be live. The examples of these types are acts, performance, dance, and etc. Those examples combine gesture, music, and movement in space. So, for example, when we look at the president of Indonesia gives speech, gives a speech, or is giving a speech, it can be called as multimodality because we can see the combination of acts and then visual, that is can be face or uh, the human body, and movement or gesture of speech. Okay, the following is transmedia. The example of transmedia is about the use of various platforms in storytelling involving the audience. The use of additional material in storytelling combined with digital platforms and it enables more participative storytelling experience. In addition, it can be used for business and advertising. Maybe when we watch a storytelling, we can see the supporting tools, for example, sound, and then uh, the image behind the storyteller, and many other elements that can support the storyteller to give an interesting storytelling. Following explanation is about the game model. What is game model? The term game stands for genre and multimodality model. So, what is this? This kind of model is used to provide data in different genres using combinations of text, layout, graphics, pictures, and diagrams. Generally, in this model, multimodal documents is formally analyzed in 5 levels of structure. What are those? The 5 level structures, those are content structure, rhetorical structure, layout structure, navigation structure, and linguistic structure. So, based on Batman's opinion, he states that the study of multimodal genre requires consistent framework for empirical analysis that allows an observation of multimodal phenomenon upon which further hypotheses may be based. So the important function of this model is that for analyzing both textual and visual meaning. So of course when we look at the text and the image or the visual, we can catch the meaning. So here is the function of game model or genre and multimodality model. Explanation is about content structure. What is content structure? Related to content structure, it can be organized into topic segments of an illustration. In addition, hierarchical representation shows the relation between the content parts. Unfortunately, the hierarchy content doesn't explain why some of the information is presented in one way and some in another. Content structure, if we talk about content structure, of course we talk about the content of the text or the content of the visual or another. Of course, we look at um, what it means and what the content means. What does the writer or what does the person give meaning through the content? Okay, the following is rhetorical structure. According to Mann and Thompson, 1988, rhetorical structure theory is a theory which is originally developed for describing the rhetorical structure in linear text. But according to Batman, 2008, he states that this theory was extended by game model to cover visual elements and defines an additional set of 5 relations that allows the analysis to extend below the minimal unit of analysis or a sentence in order to describe text and image relationships accurately. In short, the purpose of this theory analysis, the purpose of the rhetorical structure theory analysis is to describe the deep structure of an artifact. In addition, the highest level of content consists of picture and text. Okay. The explanation is about layout structure. When we are talking about layout structure, we are talking about nature, appearance, and positions of communicative elements on a paper. Okay, for example, we look at a paper. when we are talking about layout, we will see the appearance of the page. Okay, we continue. Those bring particular meaning and purpose for readers. Layout structure is divided by decision into three parts. The first is title information, the second is the illustration, and the last is the text. Okay, the place of the title is so important to give the information to readers. And when it is in bold print, it can signify that is the most important information of title and serves as a starting point for reading. So, for example, we will read um, what is that? A text. Of course, the first thing that we are doing is looking at the title, right? So, the position of the title, or yes, the position of title is so important for readers, and when it is printed in bold size, font size, the font size is bold. It becomes more important for readers because the readers can see and can understand uh, the content of the text through by reading the title. Okay, so the reader will start reading after reading the title first and then the text. The difference of alignment and font size gives important sign to readers. So here is explained that the alignment and font size are important factors for readers. The following is about navigation structure. Navigation structure means the ways of intended mode or modes of consumption of the documents is supported. Sometimes it is not important to put some elements on a page of book. For example, the entry number of an illustration. Maybe some of us will find a page, and the page there is a text and an image, and the in the top at the top of the image there is an entry number. There is not page number but entry number. So in the journal or the book that I read here, that it is not necessary to place this information within the block that is meant for illustrations little information. So the entry number here is called as little information, which means that not really important for readers. So it is because the entry number is not sufficiently distinguished from other unrelated information. So it fails to be called as a usable navigation elements. So from navigation structure we can know the elements which is not useful for the page or for the appearance of the page or the text and the image. The last structure is about linguistic structure. Linguistic structure is the last level of 5 structure levels. Of course, when we are talking about linguistic structure, we will talk about grammar uh, and and structure. However, a good writing or a good text contains of good sentences with a good structure. It includes complete clauses and labeled lists in telegraphic style. These two types of linguistic structure evoke different expectations related to these typographic conventions. So, language use and typography are two important factors in linguistic structure in multimodal text. Okay, so those are the explanations about the definition of multimodal and the parts of the GAM model or genre and multimodal model. Okay, the following explanation will be explained by my partner. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Evan Kanila Trivani and here I am would like to continue the explanations of my friends about multimodality discourse analysis. Multimodal discourse analysis or MDA. Honestly, I haven't heard the term of multimodal discourse analysis before, so I have read and searching on the internet and some references that Ma'am Aini give for us. So I'll try to share my understanding and I hope it can add the knowledge, your knowledge. Okay. If you read multi, it means many, right? Because multimodal discourse analysis um, extends the study of language to the study in combination with other resources such as image, scientific symbolism, gesture, action, music, and sound, and create meaning in multimodal or multisemiotic phenomena like print materials, videos, websites, three-dimensional objects, and day-to-day events are variously called semiotic resources, modes, and modalities. So here is the theoretical and methodological tools for multimodal analysis. Describing semiotic resources, multimodality can be used to build inventories of the semiotic resources, that is, the actions, materials, and artifacts people communicate with. That modes make available to people in particular places and times has contributed to mapping the semiotic resources of art and visual image. These include the semiotic modes of color, gesture, movement, gaze, voice, and music, and space, to name a few. Three-dimensional objects. The dimensions of doubles as products and three-dimensional objects as moods. It described that the relation between practical function and symbolic meaning potential of such objects. Jaworski and Turlow investigate how gaze and gesture and the camera as an object are central moods in tourist social interaction with and construction of place and identities. Investigating intersemiotic relation, the relationship across and between modes in multimodal text and interaction are a central area of multimodal research. Substantial theoretical descriptions of the dynamics of interaction between image and language. The theorization of intersemiotic resources is a key aspect of multimodality. This explores how different semiotic resources are integrated to form multimodal text and communicative even via rhythm, composition, information linking, and dialect. Then, systemic functional theory, theory of Michael Halliday in 1994. The systemic functional or SF approach to multimodal discourse analysis (MDA) is concerned with the theory and practice of analyzing meaning arising from the use of multiple semiotic resources in discourses, which range from written, printed, and electronic text to material lived in reality. Three-dimensional sites and other realms of activity where semiotic resources like spoken and written language, visual imagery, mathematical symbolism, sculpture, architecture, gesture, and other psychological moods combine to make meaning. SF theory is well placed to provide theoretical tools for MDA because, first and foremost, it is a social semiotic theory where the meaning is seen to be context dependent. Systemic functional language was developed by M.A. Halliday during in 90 and 60 centuries in the UK and then in Australia. A constructed systemic functional grammar that made it possible to say sensible and useful things about any text spoken or written in modern English. Text is limited to its functional meaning in a social context, confirming that the text can be in the form of one text, paragraphs, complex clauses, phrases, groups, or sounds. In addition, the text is studied based on the SFL approach, which focuses on the meaning of a text. This confirms that no matter how small the language unit, as long as the language unit has meaning in the social context, it is still called the text. Text, which is a unit of language that has meaning in the social context, occurs due to the interaction in communication. All of these interactions are called multimodal. The systemic consists of metafunctional categories, which are referred as the ideational, interpersonal, and textual. Semiotically, language seen as a system of embodies and performs three major metafunctions. That's the ideational, the interpersonal, and the textual, which makes language relevant to the context. Some challenges facing SF multimodal discourse analysis include: first, modeling the functionality and grammars for semiotic resources other than language, for example, visual image, mathematical symbolism, music and sound, movement and gesture, and architecture and space. Number two is mapping the metafunctional orchestration of semiotic flow within semiotic resources in written or printed text, electronic and film text. Number three, from point one and point two that I have explained, developing theories of intrasemiosis through one semiotic resource and intersemiosis through multiple semiotic resources. Number four is developing theoretical approaches to MDA, which involve perspectives from other fields, for example, architecture, computing, music, science, and sociology, anthropology, and cognitive science. And the last one is developing analytical approaches for SFMGA through the use of information technology and software applications and multimodal corpora. Language metafunction. Language metafunction systemic functional language approach is used worldwide and for a number of purposes, like discourse analysis. SFL has been used for analyzing different types of text, including advertisements. Following Halliday's SFL theory, meaning is deployed by three main functions which simultaneously contribute to the meaning of a text as a whole. These metafunctions are known as the ideational, interpersonal, and textual, like I said before. Okay, I would like to explain what the ideational function, interpersonal, and textual. Um, First, the ideational function views the language with the way reality is represented, involving the inner and outer experiences of our surroundings. It explains the reality about what is happening, who is involved, when and where. The speaker has role as an observer. There are two sub-functions of ideational function, which are experiential and logical function. It is also classified into one main grammatical system in terms of transitivity system. Transitivity system analyzes verbal and includes with three aspects: the process, verbal group verbal group, the participants are human or non-human, and the circumstances are the prepositional and adverbial group. According to Edgens 2004, the ideational meaning is meanings about how we represent our experience. For Gerard and Wicknell in 1994, the ideational meaning is meanings about phenomena about things, living and non-living, abstract and concrete. Meaning is language as reflection. Language provides a theory of human experience. The ideational meaning gives an understanding that to articulate experiential trends and conceptualize the circumstance, operation or state of affairs. The transitivity mechanism understands the sequence of the ideational significances. Okay, here's the example of ideational. The script of the video in Appendix 1 is trying to show the beauty of Indonesia by using the word wonder. Indonesia is a wonderful country with its natural beauty, its cultural richness, and the hospitality of its people. The speaker is trying to convince people to come and visit Indonesia to explore the wonders of Indonesia. I took this example from thesis, and then we are going to the interpersonal metafunction. This is views language as the interaction in which the speaker does exchange or action with the listener. It is used to establish the speaker's role in a communicative way. One of its main grammatical systems is mood and modality. And then the textual meanings. The last one is the textual meanings, as concerned with how we create the text so that it is able to convey the meanings and message between various parts of a text. One of the main textual systems is stem, and rim. Okay guys, I think that's all about my explanations about multimodal discourse analysis in this occasion. Um, I hope can add your knowledge. I'm so sorry because my understanding is limited. If you are interested in multimodal discourse analysis, you can search more further information into deep knowledge more than uh, my material. Thank you so much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.